Welcome to Asian Music Idol, your ultimate backstage pass to the hottest stars and stories in Asian pop.
Okay, let's dive into this. We've got these sources, mostly news reports, looking at a real social media storm from late May 2025.
Yeah, it seems like it really blew up fast.
It involves outlets like Fu No So, Korea Boo, and it really shows how, rumors involving big names, especially K-pop idols, can just explode online.
Exactly. And this one centers on a specific South Korean influencer, Wootaek, and some really serious claims he apparently made about Jennie from BLACKPINK.
Right. So our goal here is to unpack these reports you sent over. I want to get the key details straight, what the reports say about the claims, how this influencer Wootaek reacted, and crucially, the public response, all based on what's in these sources.
And they're pretty current, reporting around May 29th on stuff that happened just the day before.
So a snapshot of events as they were unfolding. Okay, so where did this all start? What was the initial spark, according to these reports?
Well, the sources point to May 28th. That's when this influencer, Wootaek, apparently said something that caused a huge stir online.
A huge stir is probably putting it mildly, given the reported claims. What exactly did the sources say he alleged?
They report he claimed he'd seen a hot clip, that's the term used, involving Jennie and the son of a BMW Group heir.
Wow. Okay. That alone is huge. But the reports say there was more. Something about money.
Yeah, apparently he also alleged that Jennie got a large sum of money following a romantic relationship with this person.
That's quite the accusation package. You can see why that would get immediate attention.
Oh, absolutely. And the sources are clear. The reaction was immediate and overwhelmingly negative. Just outrage across social media, reportedly.
I bet. The sources mentioned people flooding his social media pages, attacking him, questioning him.
Exactly that. Just a huge backlash hitting his personal pages, demanding answers.
So facing that kind of fire, what did he do initially? Did he say anything?
Well, the reports note he first tried to deny it, said he didn't intend to spread defamatory info about Jennie.
But that didn't really calm things down, did it, based on the sources?
No, not at all. Reportedly, the anger just kept rolling, despite that initial denial.
Okay, so then what? The pressure's still on.
So later that night, May 28th, the sources say he posted a long letter trying to explain himself more fully, I guess.
Ah, the letter. Sounds like that's a key piece here. What was his explanation? What context did he give for those earlier comments, according to this letter?
Okay, so in the letter, as reported, he claimed the clips circulating online were, incomplete, taken totally out of context.
Out of context from where?
From content that was originally only for paid members of his podcast.
Right, okay, so behind a paywall. For a specific audience, that's a major part of his defense then.
That's what he claimed, yeah. And he also apparently said they'd already removed those videos about a week after posting them because complaints had started coming in.
Did he say anything about the podcast itself, like what kind of show it is?
Yeah, the sources quote him saying their show usually deals with dark theories and conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Stuff not typically covered by mainstream media. He's framing it as, niche content.
Interesting context. Dark theories.
Yeah.
Okay, so did he address the Jennie situation directly in this letter?
Yes. Regarding Jennie specifically, the reports say he stated he and his group members never intended to harm or defame her.
And what did he say they were doing then, if not making claims? What was the basis for the discussion?
He reportedly argued they were just recounting stories they had heard, basically repeating rumors, not stating facts they knew to be true.
Okay, so stories they had heard, that's a key distinction he's trying to make. And the sources mentioned a specific denial, too.
Crucially, yeah. He reportedly stated point blank in the letter he never claimed to have actually seen a private video of Jennie.
Right. And also that he and his colleague, Kira, didn't name specific people or confirm bad behavior.
Exactly. He claimed they just talked about if that kind of thing happened in K-pop, then it would be disgusting and horrible. So the argument is basically misunderstanding, taken out of context, discussing hypotheticals or rumors from a niche show.
Got it. Did he apologize at all? The sources mention an apology?
He did, reportedly, but the sources kind of highlight the way he framed it. He apparently said they needed to apologize for causing a stir,
right.
But he also maintained they hadn't done anything wrong, although he did add a specific apology if even just repeating the rumor hurt Jennie.
Apologizing for the stir while saying we did nothing wrong, that's a choice. How did the letter end, reportedly?
Pretty provocatively, according to the sources. He basically said, if people still hate us after watching the whole podcast, go ahead, adding something like, we've already apologized, thank you.
Wow. Okay. So after all that, the context, the conspiracy theory angle, just repeating stories, denying seeing a video, the specific kind of apology, how did that response land with the public who were already upset?
Not well. Not well at all, according to these reports. His attitude in the letter was apparently seen as shocking.
And the letter itself, how was it characterized?
The sources describe it as defensive and excusing. So it seems like his attempt to smooth things over really backfired.
Backfired how?
Yeah.
Did it make things worse?
Seems like it. The reports say the letter actually led to heavier criticism. It definitely didn't quiet things down.
So what were people saying then? What was the demand?
The sources say netizens were pretty loudly demanding that Jennie's management company take legal action against Wu-Tak for spreading baseless info, basically.
Right. And this whole thing wasn't just Wu-Tak, was it? The sources mention his colleague, Kira, making other claims too.
Yeah, that's included in the material. Kira apparently made some other pretty controversial statements around the same time.
What kind of statements? Also involving idols.
Yes. The reports claim Kira alleged that IU goes on dates for 5,000 US a night. They even noted the conversion, about 130 million Vietnamese dong.
Seriously. Another huge claim against a top idol. And wasn't there something about Big Bang and Burning Sun too?
That's right. Kira also reportedly claimed all 5 Big Bang members were involved in Burning Sun, but the company wanted Seungri to take the fall because he was less famous.
And that Seungri was promised money to stay quiet and plead guilty. Those are massive allegations about a really dark chapter.
Huge. And according to the reports, Kira's video making these claims also went viral, but interestingly, it was apparently met mostly with skepticism about whether any of it was true.
So pulling it all together from these sources, we have these really sensational claims from influencers, maybe originating in this specific paid Dark Theories podcast context.
And that's the narrative presented.
And then they spiral out, hitting these massive stars like Jennie and IU. The sources called it a stain from out of nowhere.
And it's really important we emphasize, like you said, this is all based on the reporting of the claims, the influencers' reported defenses, the context, the misunderstanding arguments, and the public reaction described in these sources. They aren't verifying the original claims themselves.
Okay. So we've walked through the sources you provided. We saw the initial spark, Wu-Tak's reported claims about Jennie, then his detailed response, this long letter saying it was all context, dark theories, just repeating stories from his paid show.
And then the public reaction, which was largely negative, even more critical after the letter, leading to calls for legal action.
Plus those related, also unverified claims reportedly made by his colleague Kira involving IU and Big Bang.
Yeah, it's quite a tangled web presented in these reports, and it really makes you think, doesn't it? In this online world, information moves so fast.
Absolutely. Discussions happen in corners of the internet, behind paywalls maybe, and then bam, they're everywhere, often without the original context, especially with public figures.
So for you listening, think about how you process this kind of stuff when you see it. How do you weigh these really sensational claims about famous people, especially when the source later says, hey, you misunderstood, or that was taken out of context from my specific show?
Yeah, and what about the platform itself? Like this podcast focused on dark theories. How does that kind of space maybe shape what creators say and what listeners expect or believe?
And then what's our responsibility? As people who see this stuff, maybe share it, especially when there's that chance it was ripped out of context or misinterpreted, like the influencer claimed here. Something to definitely keep in mind next time a wild story about a celebrity pops up on your feed.
Thanks for watching Asian Music Idol. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay updated with the hottest buzz in Asian pop culture.